Hello Africa and the rest of the world. You're welcome to Report Desk Africa on News Central TV. Now in the next 1 hour, we shall be taking you on a journey through the African stories that are moving and shaking the block, the entire black continent. Now it's good to have you join us on Report Desk Africa. If you're joining us for the very first time, we'll take you from the north of Africa to the south, from the Horn of Africa down to the west. My name is Bernard Akede. Thank you again for joining us.
And my name is Blessings Mosugo. And once again, I want to officially welcome you, our DSTV family. I mean, News Central is closer to you now than ever. This is Report Desk Africa. And yes, you have the right to be informed. And we've taken up the responsibility to update you on the latest happenings across Africa. You're welcome. That's what News Central's Report Desk Africa is all about. Now, all you need to do is stay tuned with RDA on News Central Television. Once again, I'm Blessings Mosugo. And the stories for today, we will be dissecting our two major stories, one of which is in what people have identified as a racist attack. A Nigerian man has been brutally murdered in Italy by an Italian in a viral video. Very sad situation, and we will be talking about that. Also, Kenyans are bracing up for the 2022 election as campaigns get intensified. So please don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. We will be right back with more insights on these stories. And of course, we'll be having our guests join us to dissect the issues. Now, this is still Report Desk Africa with me and, of course, Bernard. Stay tuned.
And we're back. As always, thank you for staying with us. Straight to the meat of the show. Now, yet again, the unfortunate incident of maltreatment of Nigerians abroad has surfaced on news headlines and the internet. And as always, this keeps sparking national and international outrage. Just when it seemed that the worst has been seen of xenophobic attacks on Nigerians, this phenomenon went on the increase, with reports of many innocent Nigerians coming under racial and vicious attacks in different parts of the world. The most recent of these attacks is the killing of a physically challenged Nigerian man in Italy by an Italian identified as 32-year-old Filippo Ferlazio. I will take this report so that you can see and learn more about this story. And when we come back, our guest will be discussing it. Nigerians at home and abroad are still reacting on social media following the killing of a Nigerian man in Italy last Friday. Alika Ogochukwu, a 39-year-old Nigerian, was killed in broad daylight on the streets of Civitanova in Italy, and this has sparked outrage amongst Nigerians and other Africans. Video footage of the attack circulated widely on Italian news websites and social media, eliciting outrage as Italy enters the parliamentary election campaign in which the right-wing coalition has already made immigration an issue. The most tragic part of Alika Ogochukwu's killing is that the attack, which took place on a busy beach town thoroughfare, was filmed by onlookers who recorded with their phones without any apparent attempt to intervene physically. Giving an update on the case, in a statement on Tuesday, the chairman of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission NIDCOM, Abike Dabiri Erewa, said the suspect who has been apprehended will be charged to court by the Italian police.
The case of Alika Ogochukwu that was gruesomely murdered in Italy is a very pathetic one. Alika was a physically challenged person that was beaten up, just like that. And the guy who beat him up to death used the crutches that he was using to walk to beat him up to death. Now the culprit has been arrested, currently with the Italian police. As I speak with you, the Nigerian embassy and the Italian authorities are holding a series of meetings, and Alika has a lawyer that he has been working with that will be working with the Nigerian mission to ensure that justice is served in this case.
Alika Ogochukwu's killing occurred just days after two Nigerian students, Tosin Arowosegbe and Chibuzo Moma, were shot dead at a nightclub in Canada where they worked as guards. The NIDCOM chairman said the authorities there were working to get to the root of the unfortunate incident.
Also very pathetic is the case that happened just a few days before in Canada, where two Nigerians working legitimately in a club were butchered to death. Again, we have the cooperation of the Canadian authorities. There has been, they've reached out to everyone who knows the suspect. The suspect is already out there and they're doing everything to arrest the suspect, and they've also assured that justice will be done. So we commiserate with the families of these victims, and we'll continue to demand that justice be done.
The family members of the deceased and Nigerians in general are seeking justice, saying this time the perpetrators must be brought to book. Bernard Akede, reporting for News Central.
And what you've just seen there is the heart-wrenching and disturbing video of Alika Ogochukwu's killing. Now, Alika's only crime was his struggle to make ends meet. This is another example of man's inhumanity to man. And talking about xenophobic attacks, Bernard, this is really just disturbing. Now, the fact that he was killed by an Italian man is one thing. And then the fact that people actually stood there
that's the part
and videoed the footage and did nothing to stop this man. Let's say he had bipolar, like they say. Let's say something was wrong with him. Nobody in their right senses could think to do something to stop that man. He wasn't even armed. Yeah. It really is just disturbing.
It is disturbing. Well, we clearly are going to look into this matter and get an expert to properly dissect the issue.
I'm talking about getting an expert to dissect the issue. Joining us now to examine this is Abdurrahman Balogun, the head of media, public relations and protocols, Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM. He joins us live from Abuja right now, the Nigeria's capital. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
Our pleasure. Now, Abdurrahman, let's talk about this issue. We know that there are conflicting stories as to why Alika was attacked by the Italian man. Now, some say Alika may have been trying to sell him something he did not want, and then he got offended, and other people say that Alika complimented the man's partner, and the compliment annoyed him. Whichever way, we know that it's not right to do what he did. But what exactly is the story here?
Thank you very much. Like you rightly did in your background, I think it was a very pathetic story. We have various versions of the story. You narrated one, which was that our man admired the wife of that Italian when the Italian or the lady was trying to purchase an handkerchief for something that he was selling. A very hard-working man that he was selling, and then the man felt disturbed about it and then attacked him. The other story we had was someone was saying maybe they had something before that particular day, and then he now used that opportunity to launch an attack on him. Whichever way, he has no such right to attack a fellow human being just like that, where there is a rule of law. So it is a condemnable act. The second aspect of it is that in our own side of the world here, if you see two people fighting, we try to make peace. We try to separate them. We are just wondering why they are watching them, doing such a thing when they are not in a wrestling bout. Then somebody told us that is their culture there, that when people are fighting, they just be looking at them. Whatever it is, we are insisting, the Nigerian Diaspora Commission, under the able leadership of my boss, Right Honorable Dr. Abikeda Berewa, that justice must be served. And then at this point, I would like to just commend His Excellency, the Ambassador in Italy, for his proactiveness in seeing to this matter immediately. He had gone to condole the wife of the deceased, a 39-year-old Nigerian. He had gone to condole the wife. He has mobilized some support for the wife. He has arranged for a lawyer to take up this matter up. And just yesterday or so, the Nigerian community there and some other Italian community, they've been able to raise close to 15,000 euro to support the family. And today, we've not heard of the outcome of the meeting. The mission, our mission there, is having must have had the meeting on the way out of the issue. But something we want to assure Nigeria is that we are not leaving this matter to lie low like this. Thank you.
Right. Now, there's no gain in saying that Africans and most recently Nigerians have been subjected to indignities in obvious hate and racist attacks away from home. But what do you think may be sprouting these kind of attacks? I mean, Nigerians, many places across the world, are actually peace-loving people who like to go about their businesses and send remittances back home. So what may be sparking some of these, these incidences in different parts of the world?
Well, I don't have the data to say Nigeria are being subjected to attack or selected attack. It just happened, we are the leader in Africa. Look at our population. If you get to any country and you don't see Nigeria there, I think you better leave that country. So we are all over. That is the way God has made us to be diverse in culture, in trying to explore opportunities here and there. And our position in Nigeria Diaspora Commission is that any Nigerian that runs foul of the law should be properly dealt with, should face the music. But then, Nigerians who are diligent enough to be doing their work, to be doing their legitimate business, and killing them, you cannot even explain it. You cannot explain it. So, I don't think they are selecting Nigeria to attack. But it does happen that I cannot be speaking for other nationalities.
Yeah.
I'm here to defend the Nigerians. It just happened that one out of many is a victim in this matter. And then we have to start with the family.
Yeah. Now, Abdurrahman, what people don't know is that there are actually two major backgrounds to this story. Now, first of all, Alika actually had a job in Italy, and then he lost the job when he got, unfortunately, involved in an accident that affected his legs, and that's what made him resort to street selling, which is an unfortunate situation that led to his death eventually. And then secondly, this is coming on the backdrop of the fact that the Italian government has started hinting towards the fact that migration has become a problem for them. And then there's been a lot of online protests and even in-person protests. So all of this put together leads me to my next question, and that is, there is an obvious mass migration of Nigerian youths to European countries, and this is as a result of economic downturns, insecurity, and the cases of police brutality, amongst others. I mean, so many people now think that Nigeria is not safe enough. I'm sure if you had had the opportunity to ask Alika this question, that's what he would have said. He went there for a greener pasture, and, every other person says that. But with these vicious attacks and then this threat to, migrants and migration itself, are these pastures still green?
Thank you very much for that wonderful question. But you agree with me that migration is a legitimate right of every individual. You have to, once you do it legitimately, you move legitimately, it's a legitimate right. And even if you are not saying somebody migrated to your country irregularly or what have you, the punishment for that is not death. It's either you deport the person or the person will face necessary prosecution there. So that cannot explain death. Nothing can be equated to killing Nigerians who are doing their business. So far, the person is not involved in any criminal activities like indulging in drugs or some other banditry activities, which is against the law of the land. Having said that, The situation in the country, well, you said European, how many Nigerians are in Europe? You have even more Nigeria in some other parts of the world. Yes, you have more Nigeria in some other part of the world beside Europe. Today now, they are giving a report and they are saying that the recession, the inflation rate they are having in Europe, they've not witnessed it in the last 40 years. It was in one of your reports this morning. So what we are saying is that what Nigeria is going through now in terms of, I will not even say economic recession, or the challenges we are going through is global. It's not limited to Nigeria alone. But we just see it to be as if it's a Nigerian problem. And that's why people are traveling in droves. It is their legitimate right to move. The only thing we are saying is that if you want to travel, you must have some 3 basic things. What do you want to do there? Where you are going to stay there? And then make sure, be a good ambassador of Nigeria wherever you go. So it is their legitimate right. Every Nigerian has the right to move from one point to the other to any part of the world. But you must do it legitimately. So it's not only restricted to the situation in the country. Look at it in the 70s. Go and look at most of our parents. Almost 50% of them, they were outside the country on scholarship, on this, on that. And so you now say it was because of the situation of the country then, even during oil boom. So I don't think so. Migration is natural with human being. Human being must definitely move. And it's linked to progress in international relations. Migration, I mean, God, even spiritually, the of our Prophet Muhammad did migration. He migrated from his native country, land, Mecca, to Medina. Our beloved Jesus Christ also, migrated. So many other people migrated. So biblically, Quranically, it's even allowed. So that they've not done anything out of place. It's only that do it legitimately and make sure you be good ambassador of Nigeria wherever you are.
Okay, Abdurrahman, I'd really like to cut in here. Now, my next question goes to the Nigerian agencies. And a lot of Nigerians at home have complained about several things, our agencies not being swift. Now, in many cases, it takes some kind of brutal attack, like some of these ones that we've seen, for appropriate government agencies in Nigeria to react. Although, I must personally even commend, NDCOM for swift responses at several points in time when we have cases like this. But, do we need some form of bilateral policies to be put in place for these kind of things to be checked? How can Nigerians in diaspora be better protected by the agencies looking after them before these kind of things can happen? Is there anything that can be done?
Yes. You are very correct. The question is another. First and foremost, Nigeria as a country has its own foreign policy. Then this agency, let me speak for our own Nigerian Diaspora Commission. Our country, Nigeria, we have a ratified diaspora policy. We have a ratified diaspora policy, which has since been since 2021 by the Federal Executive Council. Now, this one is a one-stop policy that guides movement of Nigeria. Of course, we equally have Nigerian migration policy. I think since 2014 or thereabouts. So what we are saying in essence is that when we cannot be everywhere to be monitoring how Nigerians behave or how they work or what have you. But what we are saying as a Nigerian, do you know that Nigerians will travel outside this country? They don't care to know where their embassy is located. No other national does that. when any national comes into this country, they visit their embassy. The embassy will know that they are in the country. Nigeria only know that they have an embassy when they run into trouble. And look at this case of Ogoshuku now. It was the embassy that ran around. But I'm not too sure Ogoshuku, since he came into Italy, have ever visited the Nigerian embassy. And that is why it's a little bit difficult to really capture the number of Nigerians who are out there, because Nigerians don't report themselves to the embassy.
All right, now, Abdurrahman, thank you for mentioning that. I mean, it really is worthy to note that whenever you migrate to another country, relocate for studies or whatever, you should try to attach yourself to the embassy, get them to know you're there so that in case of things like this. But then another issue worth mentioning is the fact that Alika's killer, who is Filippo Ferlazzo, claims that there was no racial undertone to his actions, and in addition, he has been diagnosed with bipolar disorder. My question now is, was there any other counter check to fact check what he said, or was it just based on one flimsy paper he presented in court, or something that he said that someone else said? Or were they people who actually checked that, yeah, this guy actually had bipolar disorder, or are we just basing our conclusions on what he said?
I agree with you totally. We are actually pointing an hole in that argument that is having some disorder. Somebody that is having some disorder, then having fun around with his spouse. I think in that particular point, anybody that is having such a disorder, they have a special home for them, where they reset their brain, where they rehabilitate them, what have you. They don't go about. And why is it that it is only when they attack blacks or Nigerians, and then you hear this excuse that the person is having some mental disorder or that? Like I said, the person in the video, if you watch that clip, it doesn't show that he has any mental disorder. It was a premeditated attack. He was very firm, he was mean, he did it deliberately. It's a pity there's no other African there who can rescue that poor national, that Nigerians, my fellow countrymen that were just unfortunately died in the incident. So I don't think we here, we are accepting that. And that's why the Nigerian mission, with our commission, we are probing further on this matter. Like I told you earlier, a lawyer has been engaged. This was a lawyer who had equally been following the matter of Ogoshuku, because it was in the same Italy that he had that accident that turned him to 87. The matter island is still in court to really look for compensation for him. Then this one now happened. So we are not accepting that mental disorder stuff from, and I think the Pope is still on, that they let them provide some necessary medical report to show that he has a mental disorder, and then the law will take its course.
Okay, that's quite sad, and honestly, this is a very, very pathetic story. But before we let you go, Abdurrahman, there's also one incident that happened a few days before Ogoshuku's own sad case, and this was far away in Canada. Now, two young Nigerian students who were working in a club in Canada were also, terribly murdered. They were gruesomely murdered. Now, do we have the full story behind their killings? And, what's the current situation on ground concerning these two young Nigerian men?
Well, thank you. That's another very, very, very sad. Two young men of, I think they're just in their late 20s or thereabouts. They are struggling, they are working. One of them just completed his master's program. And then just one fellow just entered the club and then got the two of them down. And similar story we are hearing of this Italian team. that the person was having some mental disorder. The investigation on that one too is ongoing, and we are insisting that the culprit, I learned the place of arrest, then you'll be able to use the CCTV to really try and see what happened actually. But it was also an unprovoked attack. They are doing their legitimate work. They are just, and then they just targeted the two of them and eliminate them for no just cause. So we've not really got any additional information beyond the fact that they've made some arrests. They are be able to retrieve the visuals from the CCTV, and then the matter is still being investigated.
All right, Abdurrahman Balogun, Head of Media, Public Relations and Protocols, Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM. Thank you so much for joining us on Report Desk Africa and for shedding more light on these stories. And we sincerely hope that these kind of reports will not be something that we'll report week in, week out, or month in, month out. And well done to NIDCOM for the great job they are doing as well.
Thank you so much, Abdurrahman.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We thank you for this, your intervention. We thank you for presenting this to Nigerians. We thank you for your probing questions. Geared towards letting Nigeria know what is happening to their compatriots all over the world.
Our pleasure. Our pleasure. Thank you so much. All right.
Yes. Bye.
Thank you. You know, Bernard, it's funny how these people claim that these things are not racist attack, but then it looks like when there is someone with a mental disorder or a bipolar problem, they are just suddenly in the mood to kill a black man.
And then, you know, they've been, I've been following this on social media, and people have come with different suggestions saying, imagine we flip the script, you know, if it was the African who was the one attacking the Europeans or the other people, how would the story have ended? It
definitely would have been a problem. And I don't know if all of these protests, because this was similar to what happened with George Floyd.
Exactly.
And then there was an outcry, public outrage of Black Lives Matter. But so people are saying that what happened to Alika should have sparked another outrage. But how long will we continue to protest about these things? You know, it has to stop. We don't have to. We're not looking for motives, reasons to come out to protest over and over again. We're looking for an end to these xenophobic killings. And we hope that it really ends.
Certainly do. All right, we're going on a quick break. When we come back, we still have another story to talk about. But this time, we're going to the eastern part of Africa, and we're looking at elections. Do stay with us.